Hello and welcome back to Let's Play Rogue Trader with me, Bregaton. Let's see what's going on. So my party's not gathered here anymore, and it looks like they're back in their proper places, so I'm guessing nothing. At least yet. I forgot to swap Earliet back out, but that's okay. He needs to stretch her legs anyway.
Is there money to be made?
It's nothing.
Grovel before the true power of humanity.
Victory is imminent.
Rejoice in battle!
Let's make some opportunities.
Tell me, and it is done. Don't get too cocky.
Is a prayer. As the Emperor
We'll hold on
commands,
to
I
our
act.
momentum for right now. Well, we have a couple more turns, so let's go and use that.
The enemies of the Emperor will be undone.
Absolutely nothing to it.
I understand your intent. Stop trying, monkey. I am not your xenos pal.
Definitely not playing her optimally, but I don't feel like reading all of her abilities again, so It's gonna stay that way.
I'll make it happen. I am ready for whatever comes. On it. The best defense is a good offense.
I messed up a little bit here. That's me in line of sight.
I need a foothold.
Be gone.
Let's see to it. But of course, Lord Captain. Naturally. Your reckoning is due. I'll put my psychic abilities to use.
Be gone.
I won't object to it.
He just needs one more attack.
Indeed. At your beck and call.
That was a mistake.
I can do that with the right incentive. Don't get too cocky. Am I getting paid for this? Tell me, and it is done.
Doubt is for the weak. None can escape the Emperor's judgment.
They'll write legends about me.
The Emperor is on our side. For the throne, I'm done with this one.
Your reckoning is due.
Everyone, step aside.
You've got a problem. I've got a pride.
It's a cool looking weapon. Very satisfying to use.
Faith without deeds is worthless. I'll do it.
106 is okay. It's also harder to find equipment for her, so she's gonna lag behind the other companions regardless. I mean, she does good damage, but she does fine. Lord Captain, according to our telemetry, we have arrived at the coordinates you specified. The augurs do not register any activity on the surface of the local planets, biological or otherwise, but maybe the xenos are using their arcane technology to conceal their presence. Despite this, the augur crew managed to locate a faint signal at the system's edge. According to their data, it is coming from an unidentified vessel drifting in the orbit of a local gas giant. My kin could have been faced with a new threat. Scavengers like pirates or something worse. If they were taken prisoner. Elliot's voice is trembling with something that could be either anger or fear. I am begging you, Ellentalk. Let us go to the shuttle. I can feel that the thread of fate is frayed and is about to snap. I cannot miss what may be the only chance to solve the mystery behind the disappearance of my home. You say so. Check out these planets first. Lord Captain, there is an unusual cluster of binary asteroids before us, rich in rare metals and valuable minerals. They are moving in a fairly stable orbit, which suggests the possibility of constructing a mining station inside the drift. Yeah, 12 adamantine, I'll take it. A lot of value. Lord Captain, reporting. Our void ship has passed through a cloud of cosmic dust of unknown origin. Unfortunately, the dust particles were covered with an icy shell that is frozen into a thick sheet on the void ship's hull, blocking some of the technical vents. It'll take time for the servitors to clear the ice. Until then, our maneuverability will be somewhat reduced. That's no good. Before we go to that, let's do some trading while I'm thinking about it. It might be time to start getting rid of some of the unique items that I've collected. I didn't want to trade them off, but I'm probably never going to use them. Oh, we get the Ratobi pattern faux hammer. Acts as a shotgun. I want that. I want that for Heinrichs really bad. But we'll get to it. Plus 15% critical hit damage. That's that's gonna be absurd on Heinrichs. And that gives what, plus 10 weapon skill? What does he currently have? A better critical hit chance for every kill. Also pretty good.
Always keep your eye on the price.
Oh, we can't leave. The lanky, haggard-looking officer with sunken cheeks stares at you in fright. His body is shivering as if from a feverish chill, and his eyes are darting back and forth anxiously. Your lordship, rogue trader, what brings you to our humble ship? Stop shivering like a leaf in the wind, Monkai. Answer me. Have you seen others like me in this system? If you have, tell me where, when, and under what circumstances your paths crossed and diverged afterward. The officer's eyes widen at the sight of Owlcat. His face grows even paler than before, and his lips move in a wordless prayer, unable to utter a word in response. What did you just say? Rogue traitor. How did a mere officer know who's standing in front of him? Jai's face changes, as she immediately grips the handle of her weapon. Heinrich sets his hand on his weapon, and nods at the trembling officer. I have seen people like this before, afraid of their own shadow. More than that, I have turned my underlings into this. He has been tortured. Who are you? We are... The officer swallows, gives you a strange look, and then closes his eyes. Emperor, forgive me. Mandrakes!
You monkey never learn. I'm beginning to think that your kind is eager to step into our snares.
You gasp, sucking in the poisoned air, each breath scorching your insides with liquid fire from throat to lungs. Every cell in your body is engulfed in maddening pain, as if you're being doused in molten metal, skinned alive, subjected to yet another form of torture. You hear sounds coming from somewhere far away, the moans of your people, the shuffling of bare feet, and light footsteps slowly getting closer. Rogue Trader, a long-awaited meeting indeed. You can barely see anything through the haze of agony, but you still remember the voice well. The voice of the xenos who devastated your capital world. Marajai's face is hidden behind a helmet, but his tone leaves no room for doubt. He is smirking. Owlcat, who's writhing in pain next to you, is barely able to breathe out. No. What have you done? Are you dissatisfied, my kin? I promised that you would have your precious craft world survivors, and so you will. I'll take you to them. I might even be there to witness your jubilant reunion. So it sounds like Owlcat just set us up. But why would she believe in Drukhari? She should be smarter than that. Darn you. Heinrich growls hoarsely as he tries to get up, driven more by rage than by physical strength. I will strangle you both myself. Marajai nonchalantly kicks the arm Heinrich is using to prop himself up, and he tumbles to the ground. That seems unlikely, Monkai. Both of your fates are now mine to decide. Marajai takes a close look at your companion squirming in agony, then gestures nonchalantly to someone you cannot see. Bring in the injectors. The Monkai promised to Tarantius are among them. I do not want these wretches to move an inch until they are in the hands of the Arch-Machinator. Arch-Machinator? As for you, there's a disturbing gleam in the Draken's eyes. You will have your share of paralyzing dreams too, but I'm going to keep you. You're far too precious to be surrendered to a madman playing with fire. Devious Xenos, I'll see you both dead. What a display! Did you truly put your trust in my cousin? Did you think that, between a Monkai and her blood brother, she would choose you? Marajai's laughter drips with poison. Remember this and never forget it. You are an animal. When we have need of Monkai, we use you. When we require something more, we turn to our equals, just as Iliot turned to me. His last words fill your head like the deafening echo of a ship's siren. The gas creeps deeper into your lungs, eating away at them hungrily, as the agony spreads down your every limb. You are suffocating. Are you enjoying the sensation? I had this poison made for you. Who could have thought that a Monkai would one day earn such an honor? A special gift from a Draken. But you're suffering. The Xenos leans closer to you. I knew the taste would be exquisite, where I'd add a touch of the Drukhari's talent for extracting anguish. However, there will be time for that later. No matter how I wish to play with you all one after another, I need you for a purpose, Rogue Trader. Commorragh awaits you. All of you. Mandrakes, take them. Leave none behind. Obsidian Court. So I knew that we would go to Commorragh at some point in this game. That was one of the things they advertised, but didn't think that'd be how. I figured it'd be on our own terms. Your consciousness emerges from an ocean of darkness and nightmares, as if someone's powerful hand reached into its depths and brought you into the light. In the dark room, long and angular shadows move around and exchange remarks. One of the shadows approaches you, ripping apart the veil of pain and revealing features that look familiar to you. You are awake, Monkai. Marjai's voice is sickeningly sweet. He is looking at you with idle interest, rolling a soft and milky-colored object from one hand to the other. Our Toxin Masters spare no efforts to drag you out of the induced dream. I must commend the Nightmare Weavers. The emanations of fear you exuded in your delirium are worthy of the highest praise. However, it is time to finish what you were brought here for. It is time to work for the good of the Cabal, Rogue Trader. Burn in the Emperor's scorching light, you filthy Xenos. Marjai clicks his tongue and gently caresses the object in his hands with the claws of his glove, making it emit a little squeal. It looks like you've acquired a taste for pain, Monkai. Have it your way then. Resist the inevitable, and know a new facet of suffering. The Drukhari gestures to one of the shadows near you. Your head is forced backward. Marjai brings the hand holding the strange object closer. You manage to make out translucent, glossy skin, bluish pulsating organs beneath, and a little head with serrated jaws, before the Drukhari pushes the larva into your face. Sensing warmth, the creature springs into motion a moment later. As it blindly pokes at your skin, it discovers your nostril, and rushes forward, stretching the skin and tearing through the mucous membrane. Unbearable pain overwhelms you as the larva begins to force its way through the soft tissue and cartilage, each of its movements causing a crunching noise to reverberate through your skull. The creature greedily bites into flesh and moves ever upward, past the bridge of your nose, past your eyes, and then something alien invades your consciousness. Darkness clouds your eyes, but the sensation of an alien presence does not relent. This is not a conscious mind, but something primitive, yet unbelievably strong in its unknowable pursuit. It is crawling around in your thoughts, scratching them with its sides, and changing their shape. Perhaps all this is just a bad dream, a quirk of the intellect exhausted by endless troubles, a calumny of a mind too weak for the burden it was made to carry. A stray light dawns at the edge of your perception.
You have disappointed us, Rogue Trader von Valancius.
Well, I can't move, so I'll quick save and reload and see if I can unstick myself.
Rushnod Doral.
Lord Captain, we received an astropathic message from Dargonis. Achilles Galander reports a xenos raid against a merchant ship in Gartrafal's Calamity. A new message from Master Scalander, Lord Captain. Achilles' aides have reported that the Xenos leader will be heading an attack on the Paradise World Grantis. We've identified the breed of Xenos that pose this threat, the Eldari, humanity's ancient and insidious foes. I focused all my attention on investigating the attacks across your protectorate. I suspected that there was something bigger behind the Xenos attacks, but...
I always keep my options open.
How is it that you were the only soul who managed to escape the trap on Rykad Minoris? How much truth is there to the rumors that a heretic Conrad Voigtveer is spreading about you? I wasn't the only one, my whole crew escaped. I'm going to ignore any minor liberties that you esteemed rogue trader may have afforded yourself.
Accused of consorting with Xenos, betraying the Imperium, and neglecting the interests of humankind.
Pulsating strands stretch from under Cassia's headpiece, one wrapping around her neck while the others drain her lifeblood through her weeping eye sockets and mouth. Every exposed area of Argenta's skin is mottled with an intricate pattern of scarlet blisters, crimson indentations, and charred tissue. All of the Cold Trader's bones were broken, fragmented arm is ripped from its socket, and the bones of every finger on the remaining hand are twisted and sticking out at strange angles. Pascal's odd-medics are separated, but not extracted from his body. The places where they connect to the organic tissue teem with predatory millipedes, feasting on the coagulating blood, accumulated pus. Abelard Versarian's limbs were amputated and then sewn back onto his body with remarkable skill and precision using human tendons.
The Tribunal is waiting for your explanations. Come closer.
And here comes our principal witness, the rogue trader himself. Heinrichs gives you a cold look. If the presented evidence was not enough to convince you, his testimony will conclude this confusing case, full of oath-breaking, lies, and heresy. You drag this boy into this trial, and I expect someone will lend an ear to a lowly heretic's testimony. I thought better of you, Interrogator Van Calix. I was so very wrong. Lady Theodora's voice sounds even harsher and angrier than you remember. The Lord Inquisitor makes a vaguely dismissive gesture. Enough. Let him speak. The sooner this business is concluded, the better. Then let us continue. Shielded by the powers of the Warrant of Trade granted by the Imperium, Theodora von Valancius more than once allowed herself to openly collaborate with Xenos. You have never seen such a contemptuous grimace on the interrogator's face. She plunged her entire protectorate into apostasy and heresy, including the current rogue trader, and went out of her way to prevent the Inquisition and me personally from maintaining order inside the Expanse. Does the rogue trader admit to fraternizing the Xenos, serving them as a puppet, and rejecting the God Emperor's blessed light for the sake of his heretical desires and base profit? Wait, something is wrong. Why are you all here? Where is Commorragh? What happened? The words fly from your lips, but their meaning belongs to someone else. Your hoarse voice is barely heard. I plead guilty. It was amusing, but the joke has outstayed its welcome. Theodorus shoots the interrogator a nasty look. It is painfully obvious this heretic is dancing to your tune. His word against mine. You had lost before you even unsheathed your blade, Heinrichs. You need not worry, dear Lord Captain. It was not my intention to bring up unsupported claims. Heinrichs produces a data slate and skillfully manipulates the device until he locates the necessary information. The interrogator gives the data slate a sour look and puts it away. There was not much evidence to collect, but the mere fact the rogue trader inevitably ended up in the right place when the Drukhari attacked his worlds and merchant vessels, even sometimes late, is the best proof that he was collaborating with other xenos. Who else could provide detailed information about the Cabal's future movements and raiding targets? Submit to the illusion. Before the court and the God Emperor himself, I plead guilty to all charges. As you can see, this is a confession straight from the horse's mouth. What other evidence can the court possibly seek? The tribunal remains silent, although those present cast anxious glances at your predecessor. At this point, the tribunal probably wants to know what the true intentions of the Von Valancius dynasty are. The rogue trader claims he has been waging war against the Drukhari this entire time. Except, was there really a war? Or was it another carefully staged performance? Heinrichs is looking at you closely, almost without blinking. Allow me to explain what actually happened. Donald von Valancius personally invited the Drukhari to his worlds, then used their strength and resources to sow chaos in the Expanse to gain leverage over his rivals. It is very convenient to play the victim, while working with those who rob your neighbors blind, and terrify the worlds that pay you tribute. How much did you profit from this, rogue trader? Did you think I would not uncover your pathetic conspiracy? Oh, it actually changes this as well. You served the Drukhari. You did their bidding. They helped you survive. Without your Drukhari masters, you would be dead. Enough of this circus, Heinrichs. I did not set up any attacks. Rogue trader, Heinrichs addresses you through clenched teeth. You are destroying your only chance to make yourself useful to the Inquisition and to me personally. Do not tempt fate, and do not resist the examination. Are you really saying your war with the Drukhari was not a hoax? Then how did you and your foolish subjects know the coordinates of the enemy's ships every time? How did you know their targets? Do you think your expert on all things Xenos was shrewd enough to divine the carefully devised plan of the Cabal's finest? No, only other Drukhari could do that, and even then, only a few. This means you're in collusion with them. Bullheaded stubbornness does not befit a man of your pedigree, rogue trader. But since you've decided to deny everything, I will summon another witness. I am sure everyone will find it interesting to explore the sordid story from another angle. Iliad silently takes a graceful step forward. If the court so desires, my speech will run like a river and wash away your doubts. I found a shard of my home in the rogue trader's chambers. An entire craft world vanished among the stars, the only clue to its fate resting in the hands of this Monkai. That was when I began to suspect that he had something to do with the misfortune that had befallen my Cruderak. But I obviously didn't. Maybe Theodora did. Do not be deceived by his breed. There's a cunning predator lurking behind the fluttering of fragile butterfly wings. The Monkai before you is a bizarre amalgamation of qualities, not usually inherent in his feeble species. He has mastered the mysteries of many of this world's cultures. The secrets of the universe and ancient artifacts, the fine art of war, the intricacies of deceit. All are embodied in a single Monkai, however hard it may be to believe. However, the thread that bound our paths broke the moment I realized the Monkai's involvement in the disappearance of my home. To flee the rogue trader, I tracked down and eliminated his chief tracker, who has pursued our kin in this part of the galaxy for many years, and thus earned clemency before this court. So Achilles did not simply vanish. You helped him disappear. Heinrich nods curtly. But we saw him the entire time. Did he... We saw that one bit of dialogue that hinted at him disappearing. But he was there right before we left for the Atlas Reach system. He was talking to Heinrichs. I say he had only himself to blame. An agent who cannot recognize an impending threat is useless. No, this is wrong. No court in the Imperium would ever admit the testimony of a xenos. You are only allowed to speak when questioned, but since the rogue trader is so eager to make his voice heard, by all means do. The court is curious to know what you gleaned from this interrogation. Now I see that I have been blind. Xenos have been fighting one another all this time, and I was their unwitting cat's paw. Good, Mankai. Enough. After the spell is lifted, staggering pain pierces your body. Darkness clouds your vision, and nausea creeps up your throat. But the wounds you manage to forget soon remind you that you're still alive. Archon Nazarke. The weakness of your subjects is an insult to the Council of Archons, and the Supreme Overlord of Commorragh himself, Emeris. The commanding, inhuman voice tears you from the vice of agony, and you see an unknown Drukhari in the center of the chamber, whose presence alone causes your insides to clench. Instead of fighting and ripping what they are owed from our destiny's hands by force, they dare to crawl into the Dark Palace, begging for favors. Look at the female Drukhari. The Xenos looks menacing. Perhaps she is the personal guard of the Drukhari sitting on the throne. Look at the Drukhari upon the throne. One half of his face is hidden behind a golden mask with an intimidating visage. The other half is showing a malicious, sharp-toothed leer. The Xenos' elaborate armor is decorated with skulls and patches of human skin, impaled on countless blades and hooks. He carries himself with authority and ease, as though he is a ruler who holds the threads of fate, while those present tightly in his grasp. A look at Marajai. The smug grin has fled Marajai's face. He clutches the hilt of his blade and casts a vicious look at the female Drukhari in sumptuous armor. A look at Iliad. Iliad absorbs every word, occasionally wincing in pain and covering her weeping wounds. Her posture and gestures are full of tension, like prey cornered by a pack of predators. Iliad shrinks under the hungry stares of those around her. Listen to the conversation. With the greatest respect, mighty Nazarkai, Archon of the Cabal of the Black Heart, first among the Chosen, voice of the Overlord of the Dark City, bringer of demise, conqueror of 100 worlds. Nazarkai dismisses Marajai like a bothersome fly. The Council of Archons has heard enough platitudes to Drac and Marajai, and no longer wishes to. Sly intrigues ruthless chill to jagged ice. Turns lips. I didn't get that. Is a Harlequin. So Harlequins are another faction of the Eldari. So you have Eldari and Drukhari. They also have the Exodites, which are the dinosaur-riding nature Eldar. But then you have the Solitaires, which serve I always call him Chegarak. It's probably Kegarak, the laughing god of the Eldar. One of the two, technically three surviving Eldar gods, if you don't include the death god that may or may not come back at some point. They kind of flutter between both the Drukhari and Eldari, and no one really messes with them because they are, well, not someone you want to mess with. They also guard the Black Library, which is the largest source of of knowledge in the setting. It's also the name of the bookstore that Games Workshop owns, the Black Library, so it's a little bit meta. And they have this kind of masquerade theme to them, because you have solitaires, you've got the oh shoot, what are their names? Either way, they're kind of based on like a theater troupe. In fact, that's what they do. They put on these plays and performances, and all the other Eldari factions come and watch it. A vitriol verbose, the cut and thrust. Keep time with fate's own machinations grave. But whose deft footwork leads to naught but dust, while from its brutal finish none can save. This play, the puppet master granted me, through murky stalls a path obligingly. The great puppet master, has Vect himself invited you to this chamber? Vect is the leader of the Drukhari. The Archon chokes on his own words, but quickly regains his composure. No matter. May be our guest, Aberranian? Be merely a spectator in this performance, and spectators do not belong on the stage, as you undoubtedly know. Do not interfere. The stranger presses a delicate finger to the lips of his sorrowful mask, and says with a twinkle in his eye, "A shadow in the shadows will I be." Look at the Eldari who interrupted the trial. The bright motley, the hollow suit, the mask hiding its owner's face, and the graceful, subtle movements. Before you stands a harlequin. Oh, sorry, that's what I was saying. I said solitaires earlier, that's why I couldn't think of the name. Solitaires are one of the types of harlequins. Before you stands a harlequin, another representative of the multifaceted Eldari race. Xenos catches your eye and nods. For a moment, the play of shadows on the mask appears to twist its expression to a mischievous grin. Recall what you know about Vect. Judging by the Archon's reaction, this is a prominent figure in the Drukhari hierarchy, but memory fails you. You're not familiar with the Xenos by that name. Darn Xenos, I burn all of you in this den of heresy, in the God Emperor's name. The words almost fly from your lips, when a sharp pain seizes your head in a vice-like grip. Blood and nausea roil inside your throat, and the world starts swaying before your eyes. It looks like the creature Commorragh shoved into your head is still suppressing your will with all its might. But you can already feel its approaching demise. Listen to the conversation. The Archon addresses the female Drukhari standing beside him, his eyes alight with mockery. Not directed at her, however, for he's still looking at Commorragh. How does the Archon intend to pay for her Cabal's blatant disrespect? I'm waiting for your reply, Emeris. My patience is growing thinner with each breath you take. Commorragh's eyes widen, filled with astonishment and disbelief. He seems to have been certain of the outcome, and did not expect what he is hearing now. His lips twist in an enraged snarl, hatred directed at the Xenos on the throne, yet it finds no outlet under the gazes of the dozens of Drukhari in the chamber. I humbly bow before the Council of Archons, and apologize for this outburst on behalf of the Cabal. Allow me to prove my respect to you with a humble gift. Emeris points at you with a clawed finger, and flashes a satisfied grin. The Drakon of the Cabal of the Reaving Tempest himself, and his amusing Monkai plaything with their entourage of hapless freaks, will enter your arenas and fight the best warriors for the crowd's amusement. A muffled chuckle can be heard from under Nazrakai's mask. Commorragh accepts your gift, Emeris. But what should I do? For Commorragh is the first among your blades. Should I cast him out of the palace and condemn to disgrace? Or should I be merciful and allow him to leave the chamber on his own? The Archon's chilling gaze falls upon you. I think I know who will make this difficult decision. A creature whose muling the Council of Archons was meant to heed. Is this not right, Commorragh? You will receive what you have been longing for. It will be the Monkai who decides your fate. Commorragh's face contorts in despair. His gaze shifts from the Archon to you, then to Emeris and back. He does not dare to utter an objection. Yes, spit in disgust. The lesser races are disgustingly primitive. The Archon of the Cabal of the Black Heart addresses Commorragh, ignoring your words. The Makai cannot even decide the fate of its enemy, and you were hoping that someone here would lend an ear to its words. Amusing. The arenas at Commorragh will devour you and your playthings. With a hiss of rage, Marjai draws his blades, preparing to fight back. The Archon nods in satisfaction, makes an unfamiliar gesture. The guards draw closer to you. Let us return to you, Imerus. The Harlequin's laughter interrupts the Archon, and echoes under the vaults of the chamber in a resounding baritone. And all the masks upon their marks now stand. The slave of vanity the spires ascends. The thief and traitor cast downward by her hand. Unbeknownst to all, their fate depends upon a lead unseen, a player green. The Harlequin leans forward and eyes you with genuine interest. Is this how you treat the hospitality of Commorragh, Erebanian? The Archon angrily balls his fist, the shadow of his wrath hanging over the Eldari interloper like a thundercloud. I thought your words were worth more. You insult me by interrupting the trial again. Xeno sweeps into a theatrical bow without taking his eyes off Nazrakai's face. You, Archon, speak a just rebuke in truth. Fate's melodies and snarls fantastic have entrapped me here. When I heard them play, I could not keep my lips from grinning wide. Here comes the hour for shadows to retreat, where the curtain waits to rise. The laugh with no beginning now sends forth the call.
I'll brush this off.
The world is an impenetrable haze of warm pain. You lie motionless. No, you rest. And the murky gloom slowly dissolving into nothingness. Sometimes your repose is troubled by unpleasant and persistent tremors coming from the place where your legs used to be. You do your best to ignore them. Away, you vulture. This is not your prey. A vaguely familiar voice reaches you through the curtain of darkness, but your disobedient thoughts refuse to reveal where and when you've heard it before. Was it just recently, or 100 lifetimes ago? The trembling coming from your legs is replaced with a violent jerking motion, and then it finally stops. From this phantasmagoria retreat, and deftly sees my merchant vagabond, the puppet's master strings left dangling, again rise up to take your place and dance. A spark ignites in the darkness, and its light ruthlessly cuts through the gloom that envelops you. An ugly image of the reality around you assaults your retina. You can feel your body again and realize it is filled with pain. Your shoulder is sore from an injection. Alright, ignore the vaguely familiar voice. Your worthlessness is worth 100 words. Here you ply your trade in other gems. Red rubies of blood and emeralds of pain. The dance will leave your pockets fit to burst. A prickling sensation burns your shoulder, and the darkness at last fully withdraws from your mind. Whatever the injection was, it is making your heart beat a frenzied tattoo. Your pupils narrow so that you now register every detail of the disgusting place in which you have found yourself in a merciless clarity. Feel your body. Every single inch of your body is suffering. Satisfied with this result, you do not delve into a detailed examination of your misfortune. All of your equipment is gone, as are your shoes. You do not even have a knife at hand to fend off enemies, or to open your veins. Look around. You are surrounded by the dead. Numerous corpses, mutilated bodies, and pieces thereof. Humans, Drukhari, and other xenos unfamiliar to you lie motionless in this gruesome mortuary. Look at your rescuer. Your eyes refuse to focus on the blurry figure of the person who came to your aid. He appears to be tall, and your mind emphatically refuses to continue, for every moment of concentration causes you suffering. I've seen you somewhere before. Who are you? A dream obscure of death, deliverance, illuminating will, and agony. Where am I? Among the shadows and the wings you lie, where taut or pulled the puppet master's strings. The stranger intricately links his fingers to mimic the tools of a puppeteer. My companions, where are they? Not here. The roles have been decided now, but if you play your part, perhaps, the plot will draw you back together, or to doom. The figure's cruel laughter follows. This overture in verse, the final lines. The merchant's time to tread the boards has come. Embark you now upon your pilgrimage, and take my parting gift, a humble prop. The stranger deposits something in your hand, and disappears into the twilight. Get from beyond the grave. Attempt to rise. Your body has suffered too much to obey your mind, or rather, that is how it would have been for someone else, perhaps. But not for you. You've lived through worse, have I? You lived through torture sometime in your distant past. Anguish and torture can never break you now. You will rise to your feet and press on. All that is left is to understand why you should. Overcome this trial, in the Emperor's name, for your service to him is not yet ended. Your cracked lips work in tandem with your burning lungs to expel the familiar words of prayer. Each uttered line fills your body with his light, giving you strength and driving away the pain. As if the Emperor himself is commanding you to rise. You make another attempt. You get up. Yes, your body aches and rebels against you, but your tempered mind is stronger than mortal flesh. You draw yourself up straight and take in your surroundings. A couple of things real quick. We have Gift from Beyond the Grave. An unremarkable and weak pistol. The engraving covering its surface is far more valuable than any meager stopping power it might possess. I don't know what the engraving is, but we'll take our gun. And we also got a permanent effect somewhere. A Plasteel Discipline. Grants +2 deflection. Alright, I'm gonna call it here, and next time we will explore this area. And see just how much trouble we're in. But for now, thanks for watching. Hope to see you guys in the next one.